Mic check 1, check 2, check hey hey, test 1 2 3, check 1 2, check hey hey. Check 1, check 2, go Mavs, check. It's the University of Nebraska Omaha ACHA Hockey live on the community ice rink at Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Your Omaha Mavericks take on the Maryville Saints. And hello out there. Welcome to the UNO ACHA Mavericks channel. Nate Obrecht here with you for this one-off between Omaha and Maryville. The Mavericks, ranked number 5 in the nation, take to the ice for the first time in over 2 weeks as they return to the River City. While on the road, the Mavericks picked up 2 huge wins in Estero, Florida against the Eagles of Florida Gulf Coast University to bring their record to 10 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. On the opposite side, Maryville got back in action this weekend after a couple of bye weeks itself, dropping 2 games Friday and Saturday to the Dordt Defenders of Sioux Center, Iowa, and they carry a record of 3-5-0 into their third and final game of the weekend for the Saints. Back here at Liberty First Credit Union Arena from 72nd and Q Streets, right on the edge of Omaha where it meets Ralston, the building formerly known as Ralston Arena, celebrating its 14th year of existence. And it is the site of our ACHA Division III clash today. On the opposite side, in the 3,500-seat arena, we are just under 3 hours away from a second consecutive Omaha Lancers game as they welcome in the Tri-City Storm. That will be going on at 5 p.m. on the main sheet, about the same time as we are wrapping up here on the community side. Great crowd on hand, filling into the seats here. 250 available on the community side. We'll take a pause as everyone rises for the anthem and get you back before a puck drop between Maryville and Omaha here on YouTube. Oh, see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's gleam. Whose was Christ and bright stars, through the perilous night, o'er the proud party walked, words of gallantry speak. And always read, love's first still there. Oh, stay not stars pale, but away, o'er the land of free, and the home of the free. That's David Olson, our public address announcer, singing our national anthem. You can hear that rendition once more as he will be opening up the Lancers and Tri-City Storm game. Again, that's at 5 o'clock, and it'll be right behind us here at Liberty First Credit Union Arena. But we've got a great game in ACHA Division III to bring you today. Maryville, the Saints, out of St. Louis, Missouri, more specifically Chesterfield. And they'll be starting out Danny Omasinski in net. Omasinski got game 1 started for the Saints against Dordt last Friday. He's got a record now of 15-3 with 1 tie in his career. He's 1-2 this season. On the opposite side for the Mavericks, it's Easton Mesher, the freshman out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He's 2-0-0 to start the year in 3 appearances. He has not played since the Omaha Hockey Showcase against Missouri. As underway are the Mavs, and bringing that puck in offside is Charlie Lowndes. Couldn't hear the whistle and sent a shot towards Omasinski anyway. That will not be recorded. So we'll get a neutral zone face-off 7 seconds into the game, giving us a chance to get you the lineups, the rest of them at least. Out in front of Mesher is Charlie Lowndes and Zach Farnsworth on defense, the two freshman pairing on D for Omaha. Winning that face-off draw was James Shea, the freshman, and another fellow Sioux Falls native. Shea out there on the top line with the unrelated Charlie Shea, a sophomore out of Kearney, and now Braden Kraut taking the puck up, the Hastings, Minnesota native. Behind the cage is Kraut. Kraut circles back to the top of the zone. Farnsworth looks towards net and shoots. Gloved once, back to the wall by Omasinski, his first stop of the game. Maryville can't clear. Farnsworth shakes off a hit and plays it off his backhand to Shea. James Shea below the goal line. To Charlie Shea there too. Back to James. Jimmy turns and shoots, and it's wide right. Around to Farnsworth, another shot. That one blocked into Whaley. Can't be cleared as Lowndes keeps it in. To James Shea. Across to Charlie. Into his skates to his stick. Tipped in front by Kraut. Stopped by Maryville and sent out to the point. Lowndes sends one right into the shin pads of Johnson, and finally the Saints are able to clear their own zone. Over a minute of attack time for the Mavericks to begin the game. The 10-1-1 Mavericks, and they send a long pass intended for Glazer. He couldn't connect with it, and it'll be icing on Omaha. But these Mavericks enter as the 5th best team in the nation, according to ACHAHockey.org. The poll came out on Halloween night. That was Friday the 31st. And it placed Omaha in the top 5, in the top 25, I should say, for the first time in program history. And ringing in at 5 is a huge number for the Mavs. They're behind only Middle Tennessee, who sits at 1, and the University of Tampa 2, as a couple of redirected shots off the initial blast from Stekiak goes wide. We'll get you the rest of the top 5 in a minute, as Maryville with a good scoring opportunity right off the jump, and Mesher has to cover up and hold as a weird wobbling puck was sent towards his way off the stick blade of D'Angelo Ferrari. Ferrari, the junior out of Rock Island, Illinois, one of just 5 Illini on this Maryville squad. The majority, 16 of them in fact, hail from Missouri. Breakout pass off the boards. It's Glazer. Glazer down to man. Looking for Tessier in front. Couldn't find him. Hunsaker, his 3rd straight game for the Mavericks after getting injured on this ice against Arizona State back in the Omaha Showdown. He loses the puck, and the Mavs will track it back to their own zone. Fories for Hunsaker again. They lose it right upon entry. Out with it, skate the Saints. Up with it is McMillan. Lucas McMillan picked by Glazer. Back the other way, skates the top goal scorer, or top point getter for the Mavericks. Glazer loops around the back of the cage, turns towards the net, sends one into Omasinski. Rebound loose. Wagner couldn't get the shot off. To the near wall it goes, and Maryville able to clear out of its own zone. Despirito back to collect for the Mavs. Can't get it out. McMillan, trouble controlling. Couldn't get the puck to Meek as Omaha able to finally work it out. Here's Fitch. Cross for Hedquist. What a save by Omasinski. It's still loose on the doorstep. And finally the Saints clear to the corner. Back out to the point for Mason Beth, who sends one on net. Tipped a couple of times. Wagner gets the rebound. Wraparound chance, and it's shut down on the near post. Wagner collects his own miss. To the slot he goes. Back to the point for Beth. Tipped right off the blade of Colin Amel. And a great defensive stop by the left winger forces Omaha out of the zone. Oh, my goodness. 2 outstanding stops from Danny Omasinski, the goaltender of the Saints. Omaha nearly opened up the scoring there. But Omasinski, a glove hand save and a pad shutdown on the near post, skating all the way across the crease to make that stop, was the junior out of Channahon, Illinois. Back into the Maryville zone it goes. It has been there much of the first 4 minutes of play. Here in the only game of the weekend for the Mavs, the third for the Saints. Farnsworth brings it in, met with pressure right as he entered the line, and Maryville able to clear. Puck dumped down by Gavin Free, stopped by Easton Mesher, and they can't clear. Finally, it gets around Zarilla, and Lucas Epperson takes it up for the Mavs. Sends one on net, blocker save by Omasinski. Still on the puck is Epperson. Leaves it for Barrett Bradley. Looking for Epperson in front. It's blocked away. Getting his stick on that one was Elijah Briz. And Maryville able to work to center. Pass cut right at the red line. Charlie Shea. He dumps it back down. Maryville regains the puck and clears to center. 15-10 to go in the opening frame. It has been non-stop action. As Charlie Shea sends one on to Omasinski, it's somewhere loose under him, and finally a whistle blows. Haven't had a stop in over 3 minutes of game time as we finally get a whistle here in an offensive zone faceoff for the Mavericks. Let's finish out the rest of that top five. It's Middle Tennessee 1, Tampa at 2, Oakland, Michigan at 3, and South Florida at 4. Your Omaha Mavericks, number 5. And Hunsaker, great keep at the line. Tried to find Kraut, poked off of his stick. Here come the Saints. Ferrari circles behind the cage of Mesher. Leaves it at the point. Johnson's shot cut off. The Mavs take possession in their own zone. It's Hunsaker off the glass and out to Fories. Assistant captain Cam Fories at a Cottage Grove. Sends one to the slot. Blocked out by Omasinski. Rebound from Kraut. Another Minnesotan stopped. Fories to Kraut. Couldn't get a shot off. Hunsaker keeps it in the zone. Back down low. Fories cross ice. Couldn't get it to the stick blade of James Shea. He collects it in the corner. Working down low against Meek. Meek takes the puck back for the Saints. Off the boards, it's Stekiak trying to do battle with a couple of Maverick defenders, and Omaha able to clear to center ice. Maryville dumps that one back in on a line change. Amel first to it, gets it to Bunton. Bunton tried to get it out to the point, but Omaha first to it. It's Glazer entering the offensive zone, weathering a hit from Bunton, but loses the puck. Long pass up ahead to McMillan. He dances around the Spirito, looks for the center, sending one on, but it goes off the back of the cage. Didn't even test Mesher. Omaha loses it right as they cleared the zone. Back into the attacking end for Maryville as Bunton sends one on, tipped by Amel. And two great stops from Mesher keep that puck out of the net. Here come the Mavs the other way. Chase Mann. Behind the net of Omasinski. Glazer and Mann battling with the Saints. Whaley sent that one up into the glass, and it was tipped into the protective netting above by Mann. Puck will move to neutral ice for the faceoff. 13:08 to go in the first. No score between the Mavericks and the Saints here on a Sunday afternoon in Ralston. Maryville wins that draw. They dump it into the offensive zone where DeSpirito gathers. Gives to Beth, and here come the Mavs. Glazer looks, shoots, and it's in! What a shot from Blake Glazer. The guy just has a knack for finding the net. And Glazer puts the Mavericks in front, 1-0. That goal at 7:08 of the first. And it's Glazer's 14th of the year, 29 points for the freshman. He's second in the conference now with 29 points and fourth in all of ACHA D3. Hedquist, also 14 goals on the year, gives it to Lowndes. Lowndes looking for Nate Mitchell to Wagner. Hedquist sent one wide. Assists go to Tess and Mann on Glazer's first tally of the game. As Meek comes back the other way for the Saints, Mesher covers up on that puck and will hold for the whistle. That one came at 7:08 of the first period. Glazer off the assists from Austin Tessier and Chase Mann, as Tessier now up to 9 assists, 15 points. Mann with 6 assists and 11 points. Both in their 12th game this season. Lowndes sends one on. Save made Omasinski. He doesn't know where it's at. It to the corner. Picked up by Britt. Dumped in the rest of the way by 3. Nate Mitchell picks it up for the Mavericks, looking for Wagner. Couldn't find his stick. Wagner outskates Wyatt. Moves in, shoots one, and it's saved by Omasinski with the pad. To the back wall it goes. Fitch wins the puck out. To the point for Lowndes. Shot in, tipped wide by Rusty Hess. Hess can't clear the zone. It's to Hedquist, who leaves it for Wagner. Wagner takes a whack along the blue line, leaves it for Lowndes. To Hedquist. To Mitchell. Shoots one and it's in! What a play from the Mavericks, and Nate Mitchell gets on the board to double the lead. Nate Mitchell with his 4th of the year has put the Mavericks in front 2-0. Now back the other way, Maryville right off of the last Maverick goal with a great shot and scoring chance from Amel. He was stopped by Mesher, and the Mavericks work the puck out of the zone. Lucas Epperson takes it, tried to find Cassiopo, pass not connected, and here comes Amel. Colin Amel from the near side shoots one, save Mesher. Along the line, Zarilla. Into the fray of bodies in front, Mesher able to see through it, and right into his glove goes the puck. Mesher holds for the whistle. So a goal from Glazer to open the scoring at 7:08. Then just a minute, 31 seconds later, 91 seconds later, Nate Mitchell put the Mavericks in front by 2. A knack for scoring goals in quick succession. The Mavericks have had the touch this year. They don't have the touch on that one, as it'll go all the way down for an icing and another draw right in front of the freshman Easton Mesher. Mesher's last appearance on September the 26th against Mizzou. He made 31 stops in that one. He just made his 9th of the game here today. Mavericks quick on the draw. It's Kraut out of his own zone into the attack end. Shot stopped by Omasinski. To the back wall it goes. Royer out with it to Ledecky. Ledecky sticked away by Mitchell. Down low goes Ledecky, tried to center. Out to Royer. Turns and shoots into the skates of a couple of Mavericks. Never found its way home, and out with it skates James Shea. A dump in and a turnover. It's at center ice where Charlie Shea picks it up. Chuck works back, giving it to Charlie Lowndes. Lowndes gives to the other Shea on the ice, James Shea, who finds Austin Tessier heading into the offensive zone. Tessier 1-on-4 as he loses the puck, but it's out to the point for Zach Farnsworth. Farnsworth across the blue line to Lowndes. Lowndes dumps it caddy corner. No one was home for Omaha. Now a 2-a-side combine on the back wall. Tessier and Glazer digging at it against Leahy and Whaley, and the puck finally won out. Lowndes retreats, then looks to center, trying to find Tessier, couldn't, and Maryville grabs the puck again. Wyatt in his own end gets it to Whaley, looking for a lane to get up the ice in. Gets it over to Free, finding Leahy once more, and it's in. Well, it was Leahy who centered it, and then D'Angelo Ferrari on the back end who was able to put it home past Mesher and give Maryville a 2-1. Cut the Maverick lead down 2-1 as the score is now 2-1 at 11:10 of the first. For Ferrari, it's his third of the year, and he's got Maryville to within one. But back come the Mavericks. It's Troy Hunsaker. Hunsaker 6 games off, played the FGCU series and back out there today. Fitch, Hedquist, cross to Wagner, shot wide. Oh, great connection of passes there for the Mavericks in the offensive zone, but Wagner on the finishing touch sent it just a bit to the left of the open cage. Omaha struggling to break it out. Another turnover at center ice, and Maryville dumps it in. 7:50 to go in the opening frame, and a turnover right in front of Mesher. Omaha has to play it to the safety of the back wall. That's where Hedquist rushes it ahead for Fitch. Fitch across ice to Nate Mitchell. Mitchell, the most recent Maverick goal, looking for a centering pass, couldn't get it through the skates of the Saints. And now Maryville able to clear it all the way out. Fitch sends it back to Hunsaker in the defensive zone for Omaha. Captain Troy Hunsaker loses the puck right at the red line. Back in with it comes Brunson. Glove save, Mesher knocked down right out in front. And Omaha gains possession again. Hunsaker to Fitch. Fitch barrels over a man as he gets the puck ahead to Bradley. Bradley dumps it the rest of the way off the glass where it can be picked up by the Saints defense. Looking up ahead, but it's cut off by Cassiopo. Cassiopo, great keep in the zone. Cross to Lucas Epperson, waiting, shooting. He had to settle that puck down first and couldn't get a clean shot off. Now to Spirito, to Beth and back again. Rocco to Spirito. Sent right into the pads of Bunton. Loose puck and everybody's racing for it. It's Beth who wins it. Getting it to the Spirito, who will dump it the rest of the way. Epperson in on the forecheck. Gets that to Barrett Bradley, but no further as Meek plays it out to the blue line. Beth sends it right back in. Save made Omasinski. Grabbed by Bunton, but can't be cleared again. Mason Beth, brick wall at the blue line, sends one. Redirected a couple of times and goes wide left. Cassiopo keeps the puck, giving it to Bradley, who sends a weak shot on. Easy stop from Omasinski, and the Saints send it out to center ice. 6:06 to go in the first. 2-1. The Mavericks lead this one. Glazer and Mitchell got the scoring started, but a quick answer from D'Angelo Ferrari has us right here in a one-goal game. Maryville with the puck in the offensive zone. Royer right on the doorstep, taken down by DeSpirito as he tried to get the puck at center. And out with it come the Mavericks. Shea, from his knees, dumps it into the zone. It's picked up by Elijah Briz. Briz spins off James Shea and finds his D partner, Zach Zarilla. Zarilla and Briz, the 1-2, but they turn it over, and Nate Mitchell collects. Mitchell to Farnsworth. And the Mavericks fail to enter the offensive zone cleanly. Back the other way comes Maryville. Pass in front, looking for Leahy. He couldn't find him. Was Hebert. Now on the puck is Gavin Free. Free loses it. Taken away by James Shea. Here's Jimmy. Working against 4 Saints. Finally gets some help. Finding Farnsworth. He sends one on Tipped out of harm's way by Colin Johnson on defense for the Saints. Great stick from the senior defenseman out of St. Peters, Missouri. And now Maryville clears its own end. Hebert loses it. Glazer brings it quickly on in. Looking for man. It's still loose in front. Tipped a couple of times, but kept out. And as Ferrari touches up, a delayed call coming. This one's going to be on Maryville. At 15:34, Meek headed off. Did not see the call from Logan Mercier. But it will give the Mavericks their first power play of the contest. And it's Lowndes along the blue line. Shot in, tipped out of harm's way by Wyatt. Still on the puck is Hedquist. Finding man below the goal line. He loses it. Kept in at the point by Lowndes. Lowndes to Glazer as the umbrella set up for the Mavericks on the power play. Lowndes, Glazer, wide open space to shoot. He sends one on. Rebound chance from Hedquist, and they're both blocked out by Omasinski. What a couple of stops there from the junior. Lowndes, another redirected pass in. Couple of tries at it, but it stays out. 1:15 remaining on the hooking call. First penalty for either team today, and finally Maryville clears it out of its own end. So hooking sends Nathan Meek to the box, and Hedquist sent to the ice by Wyatt. Turnover of the puck, and an errant pass from the goaltender Mesher, intended for a Maverick up at the red line, goes too far. Omaha will have to regroup. Pass cut out by Free, but he dropped his stick. Hard pass from Fitch. Sent the stick out of Free's hand, and Omaha's into the offensive zone. Hunsaker at the top of the slot. Shoots one right into the glove of Omasinski. Rebounds loose, and it's in! Carson Fitch! His second goal of the season. And he was just waiting on the doorstep, beating Omasinski, as there was a lot of traffic in front of the Maryville netminder. But at 17-12 and on the power play, Fitch gets his second of the year off Captain Troy Hunsaker's initial shot, and the Mavericks are back in front by 2. 2 minutes, 48 seconds to go as Omaha now 15 for 45 on the power play. That's north of 32% on the year. As the most recent goal scorer, Fitch, sends a reverse check down on Wyatt. Maryville wins the puck and is able to clear to center, but just for a moment, it's dumped back down by the Mavericks. From its own end, Maryville starts up with this. Whaley tried to send one in for Ferrari, couldn't collect with him, and Despirito gathers in his own zone. Cam Forey's the secondary assist on the Fitch goal, as the two veteran defenders, Hunsaker and Forey's, on the stat sheet for the first time since the Arizona State game. From his own zone, it's Wyatt Wagner. Turns, started backwards with it, giving the puck up to Lowndes at the blue line. Far side it goes after the dump in. Mitchell back to Lowndes, shot in, wide left. Wound up shot from Fitch, tipped a couple of times before it made its way to Omasinski, who brushes it aside to Wyatt, able to clear. Back in quickly comes Charlie Shea on the backhand. He scores! What a goal! Charlie Shea all by himself and all on the backhand. He just shelved it over the glove of Omasinski to put the Mavericks in front by 3. One of the most beautiful goals you'll see. Those backhand shots, they're very tough for a goaltender to read off of the stick. No way for Omasinski to tell that one was earmarked for the upper shelf. Assists go to Charlie Lowndes and James Shea on the third goal of the season for Charlie Shea. Epperson avoids a hit as he sends it into the zone. Looking for Cassiopo out front. It deflected off of his skate all the way up into the protective netting above the glass. And we will have an offensive zone faceoff now under a minute to go in the first. 47 seconds to be exact. And it's a 4-1 game. Omaha leads off the latest tally from Charlie Shea. Draw won by the Saints in their own end. Whaley able to lift it above everyone and get it out of the zone. Omaha dumps it back in. Wyatt first to it for Maryville. He sends it to center ice where Troy Hunsaker plays it. Dangles around one man but can't beat another. And it's back out to center ice with 25 seconds. Red line battle and two-a-side collide dug out by Hunsaker. Hunsaker with 15 will circle back to his own end. Hunsaker to 4, he's under 10 seconds. Now to Bradley, tipped off of his stick blade, out back out into center. And with 3 seconds, 2 and 1, the captain content to let this one hit zeros and head into the locker room with a score of Omaha 4, Maryville 1. We'll be back after this short break for period number 2. You are listening to the UNO ACHA Mavericks on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. Second period coming up next. Apologies here for the technical difficulties, but we are back underway in period number 2. Omaha up 4-1 on the Maryville Saints here on a Sunday from Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Charlie Shea centers one across. No one was home. And back with it skate the Saints. Adrian Hebert, one of 2 men from Canada on this Saints squad. As a pass sent across, Mesher got a piece of it. Leahy sends one down low. Lowndes first to it, trying to break it out for the Mavs. Kraut able to clear to the center ice line, where it's dumped back in by Caden Whaley on defense for the Saints. Pass cut out by Tyler Grau, and the shot in to the glove of Easton Mesher. Well, 58 seconds have elapsed here in the second. We'll get you the update from the first period. Glazer opened the scoring off of the assists from Tessier and Mann. For Glazer, it was his 14th of the year. A minute 31 seconds was all it took for the Mavericks to double the lead, and that was off the stick of Nate Mitchell with his third. We'll get you the rest of the recap in a second as Tessier brings it into the offensive zone, picked off by Ledecky, and cleared to center. So after Mitchell, it was Ferrari getting on the board for Maryville and making it 2-1 at the time. But from that point, it was all Mavs as Carson Fitch got his third of the year, and then Charlie Shea with his third to round out the scoring. A shot in from Chase Mann, stopped by Omacheski. Out to the point, Fories fakes a shot across to Troy Hunsaker. Hunsaker back to Fories, down low, Charlie Shea. Now Mann, around on the backhand, stopped out by Omasinski. It'll be played out to center where Hunsaker settles it down for the Mavericks. Fories leaves it for Glazer right before he entered the blue line, so everyone will have to regroup and get on side. Bad turnover. Here comes McMillan. Off the jump, he shoots wide right. Glazer can't control the puck, and it stays in the offensive zone for the Saints. Pass cut at center ice, but quickly in is Tessier. Tessier on the backhand, moves around Wyatt, centers it back out in front, looking for Wyatt Wagner. Instead, it's to Hedquist along the wall. He fans on a shot, and Maryville forces the turnover behind the goal line. The 2 number 20s, Wyatt Wagner and Carson Wyatt, for the Mavericks and Saints respectively, did battle there. It was one out by the Mavs, but a pass rings around the back wall and goes all the way out. Omaha has to look for a new re-entry. And this time it's Wagner to Hedquist. Save made Omasinski. To the near wall it goes. Beth keeps it in for a moment, but the second effort from the Saints enough to clear the offensive zone. In with it is Colin Amel. Has a man with him. Chooses to go behind the net where he's played off the puck by Nate Mitchell. Wagner out with it for the Mavs. Wagner doing it by himself. Now gives up to Kraut. Across to Hedquist. Round up shot. Rebound chance for Fitch. He was waiting on the doorstep but couldn't get the shot off. Out with the puck skates Stekiak. Into the shin pads of Despirito goes Stekiak's shot. Back on the puck is Stekiak. Shooting one, this time finding Mesher, but he makes a stop with the pads. And as the puck rings off the glass, it'll go all the way down and become icing against Omaha with 16:13 to go here in the second. This Maryville Division III team, one of 5 Maryville programs, or 5 teams in the Maryville program, as they occupy all 3 divisions of men's club hockey and both Division I and Division II of ACHA women's hockey. The goal for the Saints, as it was just reinstated and announced over the summer, is to have an NCAA Division I team by the 2027 season. In with it comes Hedquist. Across for Epperson, just barely sent it over the crossbar. He was looking for his first of the year. Lone tire on the blue line. Out come the Saints, and they dump it the rest of the way down. So Maryville looking to become NCAA D1. It is a very similar story to the Mavericks, who jumped up to Division I from the club ranks back in 1997. And they did that in big part from their assistant director of campus recreation, one Daniel Shipp. Now Dr. Shipp, the president of Maryville University, is in full support of this jump to D1 as he is trying to push his second club hockey program to the NCAA ranks. Interesting connection there from St. Louis to Omaha is Daniel Shipp and the Division I jump. 14:43 to go in the second here between Omaha and Maryville. Nate Mitchell, one of the goal scorers for the Mavs, gets it to Hunsaker. Now Epperson off the pads of Omashinsky. Another shot in, save made by the junior netminder, and it's grabbed by the Saints. Picked off right at the blue line by Mitchell. He works back in with it, shooting one right off the pipe. Beat Omashinsky, but couldn't beat Iron. Back the other way comes Hebert. He sends one right into the big Omaha letters on Easton Mesher's chest. He'll cover up and hold for a whistle. We are 5 minutes, 48 seconds into period number 2. Omaha entered the contest outscoring its opponents 72-22 with a plus 50 goal differential through the first 12 games of the season. Now a turnover right off the faceoff draw, and Bunton nearly had the second goal for the Saints of the day. Below the goal line, Maryville still working with it. It's McMillan. Pinned up along the wall by James Shea. Beth comes in to support for the Mavericks. Bunton in there as well for Maryville, and out with it skates Mason Beth. Beth up the near wall, tried to find Kraut, but lost it in the skates. It goes all the way across ice to the wall in front of the penalty box doors, where it can be grabbed by James Shea, and he'll enter the offensive zone. Kicked off of his stick by Amel, and Kraut stops at the blue line, dumps it the rest of the way, kicks weirdly off of that Zamboni door, and goes right to Braden Kraut. Kraut to James Shea, trying to find it as Kraut gets it right in front. Omashinsky somehow makes the stop with everyone crashing down on top of him, and he'll hold for a whistle. Out in Colorado Springs, Colorado, your NCAA Division I Omaha Mavericks swept the number 13 team in the land, the Colorado College Tigers, by scores of 4-3 on Friday night and 5-4 on Saturday in two barn-burning affairs at Robeson Arena. The NCAA D1 Mavericks, who were receiving votes last week, should definitely have a consideration in the top 25 when the poll comes out tomorrow morning. Back in ACHA land, the number 5 Mavericks working with the puck in the offensive zone. Glazer with a shot wide left. Off the back wall, banks out to Mann, to Glazer. Now Tessier trying to find Glazer in front. It ramps off of a defender stick. Glazer circles to the top of the zone, trying to find Farnsworth. Off of his stick, it's Briz. And the two sides will battle for it along the wall. Cleared out by Briz, but he sends it all the way down and icing the call on Maryville. That'll bring the puck down into the offensive zone for Omaha with 12:29 to go in the second. No score in this one. 4-1, the Mavericks lead. I should say no score in the second. All 5 goals, 4 for the Mavs, 1 for the Saints, came in the first period. Draw one here in the attack zone by Omaha. Glazer, trouble getting it through the linesman's skates, and Maryville able to clear the center. Puck loose along the near side wall. Farnsworth dumps it in. Picking it up first is Zarilla. to Bunton. He sends a skipping puck on out of the zone, just barely hopping over Lowndes' blade, and now Leahy takes over. Narrowly avoiding the too many men call is Leahy as he dumps it the rest of the way in. Hebert on the attack loses the puck in the corner. Chopped at and out with it skates Glazer. He loses the puck upon entry of the zone, and Omaha has to regroup at center. Lowndes sent his man to the ice before sending the puck into the offensive zone. It's dumped back the other way by Gavin Free. Omaha controls in its own end. High pass just barely avoids the netting by Glazer, going all the way down, but not strong enough for icing. Now the puck, originally controlled by Johnson of the Saints, picked off by Hedquist off a battle in the corner. Now to Fitch, off a great stick lift. Fitch couldn't find the defenseman crashing in at the point. Instead, he looks low to Wyatt Wagner. Wagner crunched up along the back wall, puck free to Hedquist. Voorhees fakes a shot, works in a little deeper into the zone, sends one into the pads of Omasinski. Rebound chance by Mitchell, redirected up into the netting, and will go for a stoppage of play. The first was a very clean period, just one penalty for either side. It was a hooking penalty on Maryville, and it resulted in a Maverick power play goal. This period, no goals, no penalties, not even very many stoppages of play as a shot in from Mitchell is stopped by Omasinski. Omaha controls again. Mitchell down to Wagner. Along the hash marks, Wyatt Wagner works lower to Fitch. Lost the puck momentarily, but Wagner with a good stick lift to win the puck back in the offensive zone. Fitch plays it to Hedquist. Backhand pass to Nate Mitchell. Mitchell on an awkward dump in, rings it around. It kicks out just as awkwardly off the Zamboni door. Now Voorhees fans on a shot. This puck is just not wanting to cooperate here in the offensive zone on this trip. Hedquist has some trouble hanging on to it. Now Fitch kicks one around. It's picked off by Royer. Ramped off the body of Hedquist and out. Voorhees for Omaha. Fitch now to Wagner. Wagner shoots one. Blocker save Omasinski. Rebound picked up by Fitch to the far corner. He's played off of it by Royer. Stick lifted. Fitch back on it to Wagner. Shoots one and it's wide left. Puck played out of the zone. Hedquist will have to retreat. Beff with him as we are under the halfway point of this one-off game here between Omaha and Maryville. 4-1 our scores. The Mavericks continue to lead the Saints. Lucas Epperson started along the hash marks, working behind the cage. Circles to the top for Bradley. Shot right into the shin pads of Hess and played back the other way by Ferrari. D'Angelo Ferrari gives it to Royer. And as the Mavericks touch up, delayed call coming on Omaha. This will be the first of the game for the Mavericks. Barrett Bradley headed off. Hooking reappears the call on Barrett Bradley. So Bradley penalized at 11:05 of the second period. It'll send Maryville to its first power play opportunity of the game. They entered the weekend with a 4 for 23 record on the power play, just 4 power play goals, and a percentage of just over 17% as the Mavericks get to it and clear 30 seconds into the penalty to Barrett Bradley for hooking. Hebert starts from his own zone. Cross ice to McMillan. He's in. McMillan shoots one. Great shot blocked from Charlie Lowndes, and he sends it up into the rafters with a minute 22 to go on the first penalty kill for the Mavs. So with Maryville moving to Division 1, they are playing a couple of NCAA opponents while they prepare the transition. They'll be playing 4 games and exhibition games at the Division 1 level this year. As a shot from McMillan blocked out, may not have gotten all the way through to Mesher. Glazer plays it out. 2 penalty kill goals, 2 shorthanded goals for Blake Glazer in the first game against FGCU a couple of weeks ago. Hedquist, the other forechecker out there on the penalty kill for the Mavericks, also got a shorty in the FGCU series, as Glazer and Hedquist combined for the only Maverick game in program history with more than 1 shorthanded goal in the contest. Maryville struggling to get anything set up on this initial power play chance as Hebert enters the offensive zone. Giving it to Stekiak. Shot save made by Mesher. Picked up by Ferrari, sent lower into the corner where it's poked off the blade of Amel. Omaha can't clear. Now to Glazer. He sends one all the way out. Whaley picks it up in his own end as the Mavericks kill their first penalty of the contest. There, Bradley back out of the box to the bench, and now the Mavericks can regroup in its own zone. Hunsaker. Forey's looking long up ahead. Tried to find Charlie Shea. It's intercepted at center. Grabbed by Ledecky. Working in with it is Ledecky. Trying to center it for Grau. Couldn't get a shot through. Out to the point. Whaley blocked out by Kraut. Another shot block, and now a man is down in front of the net. Charlie Shea to Braden Kraut as Forey's down in front of the net. Shot goes wide. Cam Forey starts the slow trudge, and now he'll have to stay out there. Forey's was just struggling to get back to the bench. Now he's got to stay out on defense, and a good stick lift from Hunsaker to back up his D partner. James Shea takes it the other way. He would be good to just hold it for a second. Shot goes up high. Crowd on the rebound had whacked that one out of the sky. Other way comes Amel. Shot off the pipe. Behind Mesher, it stays out. Whaley with another good look. Wide right. That one way wide. Another shot in. It's Hebert. That one could not find the target. Finally, Whaley sends one on. Pad save Mesher to the corner. Omaha surviving the onslaught from the Saints. Good pressure after no attack zone time in that power play. They have dominated much of the last 60 seconds. Despirito can't clear it. It's Leahy. Out to the blue line, Briz. Cross-ice Zarilla sends one on net. Glove saved by Mesher. It's loose out in front, and Mesher vacated the crease. The pass went behind him, but too far for anybody, and was cleared to center ice. Now Zarilla lifts one in, and Mesher calls and makes the easy catch for the third out. Fielding that one much like an outfielder. Mesher saw that all the way through, put his glove up, and squeezed to hold for the whistle and a face-off to his left. With 4:50 to go in the second period. 4-1, still the score. No goals to be had here in the second. Chase Mann trying to change that. He's in on the attack, sending one for Glazer. He couldn't find it. Loose in the corner. It's Farnsworth. He'll glove it down at center ice. Dump the rest of the way in, where Maryville can try to work out with it. Intercepted by Austin Tessier. Big hit delivered by the forechecker McMillan by Glazer. Glazer not too involved in the physical game, but certainly the big frame of the freshman, he can lay some heavy contact when he needs to. Meek struggling to work it out of his own zone. Played off the puck, backed up by 3. He'll send it off the glass and all the way down where Mesher is forced to cover up and hold with 3:48 to go in the second. For the Saints, they got the first of 2 NCAA Division I series this weekend as they headed out to Long Island University. They dropped both of those contests, the first one by a 9-3 score and the second by a 3-1 total. They'll head up and take on the Alaska Nanuks a little bit later this year, and then next season it'll be about a 50-50 split between ACHA Division I games and NCAA exhibitions for the Division I squad. We're unsure what that will leave for the vacated Division I Maryville team, if they will move the Division II ACHA squad up, or how that will all shake out. Maryville has only had hockey on campus in any capacity since the 2018 season, as it has been an impressive and rapid rise for the Saints out of St. Louis. Omaha wins the puck back in the offensive zone. Lucas Epperson to Sebastian Cassiopo. Down low for Barrett Bradley. Tried to find Cassiopo, intercepted by Meek. Out with it skates Meek. Loses it along the blue line. Hunsaker with the body contact, but couldn't find the puck. Stasiak will try the near side. Tried to work around Mitchell. Good cut off by the freshman, Nate Mitchell. It's up to Wyatt Wagner. Wagner, good spin move around one man. Loses it, though. Leahy tried to find Ferrari. Intercepted. Here comes Hedquist. Hedquist on the backhand. Looks to the net front. Save made Omashinsky. Hunsaker now to Hedquist again in the slot. He'll turn around and look to the top of the zone. Across to Mason Beth. Beth looks to the center. Tried to find Wagner. Played down behind the net. Wagner to Fitch now. Fitch's pass kicked away from danger, but shot back and Hedquist finds Wagner. Wagner from the near corner. Dances around Leahy. Tried to find Fitch and set it to the point for Beth. He can't hang on to it. Played out by Hebert. Adrian Hebert into the attack zone for Maryville. Rebound chance from Leahy on the Hebert shot. Both stopped by Mesher. Omaha clears. The Omashinsky stick tap will negate icing with 1.5 minutes to go in the second. Briz from his own end. Looking for Amel, but Briz was not over the center ice red, and Amel did not win the race. Thus, icing called on the Saints, and with 83 seconds to go in the second, we will have an offensive zone draw for the Mavericks. James Shea, Charlie Shea, and Braden Kraut, the forward line out there for Omaha. Opposite Adrian Hebert, Danny Leahy, and Gavin Free. The 3 on the attack for the Saints. Farnsworth sent one towards Charlie Shea, but he couldn't hang on to that one, and it ramps up above the Maverick bench. There with head coach Nick Harrahill in his 3rd season, having the best start to a season in program history. In fact, last season in 24-25, the Mavericks were 6-6 through 12 games. Shot from McMillan, blocked by Lowndes. Another chance, saved by Mesher. Bounced around a couple of times. Braden Kraut able to work out to Charlie Shea. Shea sends one on. It's gloved by Omashinsky, and he'll hang on with 41 seconds to go. So 10 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie for the Mavericks this season. Last year, they were 6-6 through the first 12 games. The year before that, 23-24, they were 5-4-3. Prior to that, 3-8-1 in the 22-23 season, and the first year of ACHA, they finished 4-6-1 in the 11 games they played. So, unprecedented territory, unprecedented levels of success as Bunton able to beat Mesher and bring Maryville to within 2. It's the first goal of the second period from either side, and it comes with just 28 seconds remaining in the frame. It's at 19:32 of the second, and it's Joey Bunton, just his second goal of the season to go along with 4 assists. But Joey Bunton has the second goal for Maryville, and as the stick ripped out of Glazer's hands, we'll have a delayed call. Slashing coming up on Caden Whaley of Maryville. And they will head back to the box, the second Saint, to head to the penalty box today. Whaley, a senior defenseman out of Okotoks, Alberta, played for the Provo Riverblades in the USPHL. Also played a season with Austin Tessier. And a shot in, nearly deflected off of Tessier. Omaha still with the puck. 6 seconds and 5 to go in the frame. Hedquist to Lowndes. He has to shoot. It's off the blocker of Omashinsky, and the horn will sound to end the second. A minute and 40 seconds will remain on the power play when we return for the third period. You're listening to the UNO ACHA Mavericks on YouTube. We've got a 4-2 game with Omaha in front for you to return to when we're back for the third period. We'll see you then. Welcome back to Liberty First Credit Union Arena alongside Caden McDermott and company. I'm Nate Obrecht here with you in this 4-2 contest between the Mavericks and the Saints. Omaha jumped out to a 4-1 lead at the end of the first period. Maryville added one in the second, the only goal of the second period from either side, to get us where we are now. Here in the third period, Omaha with a minute 15 still to work on the second man advantage of the game. In the box for the Saints is number 41, Caden Whaley. He took a hooking penalty near the end of the second, and the Mavericks are on their second power play of the game, 1-for-1 so far, as Maryville lifts the puck out and clears the zone. Whaley was with Tessier, who brings the puck up now for Omaha on the Provo Riverblades. Also spent time with Tessier on the Utah Outliers, as the two were USPHL teammates at two different Utah locations in the 21-22 campaign. Omaha still with the puck in the attack zone. 20 seconds to work on the man advantage, and Fitch shot turned aside by Omasinski. Lowndes along the blue line to Man. Man sends one on. Rebound in front. Fitch sent it towards the net. Save made Omasinski. 7 seconds to go on the power play. Lowndes, top of the zone, shoots one, tipped wide right. Voorhees collects the rebound as Maryville back to full force 5. 1 for 2 are the Mavs on the power play after that second try. Back up with it at even strength comes Chase Mann. Mann, the sophomore out of Sioux City. Leaves it for James Shea. He can't collect. Picked off by Zarilla. Zach Zarilla from behind the cage of Omasinski. Lifts it sky high to center ice. It trickles over the blue line into the offensive zone for Maryville. Leahy with the great forecheck turns it over. Shot save made off the stick of Ledecky by Easton Mesher. Out with his skates, Jimmy Shea. Over to Braden Crowd. He couldn't control it, and it's played out to center ice. 17-20 to go in the final frame. Omaha 4-2 the lead. All 4 goals coming in the first period. Braden Kraut can't hang on to the puck. Grabbed by Zach Zarilla and cleared to center. Mason Beck sent it into the pads of DeSpirito and a turnover. McMillan shot blocked by a diving Charlie Shea. He's coming across the top of the zone and got in front of the Saints' top goal scorer's try. Now a turnover. James Shea crashes into Omashinsky as he grabbed the puck off of the bad pass from the defense. Worked towards the net front, but couldn't beat Danny Omasinski. Channahon, Illinois native, played for the Joliet Jaguars. Did Danny Omasinski. He's got those beautiful pads in Maryville red and white that display the St. Louis skyline. As back on the power play are the Mavericks. Penalty after that last call. The call at 3 minutes and change is going to be on Lucas McMillan as Maryville clears the puck down on their third penalty kill of the game. 1 for 2 so far. Being a man short as Hedquist brings it into the offensive zone looking for Glazer, tipped out for the point. Lowndes across the blue line man. Back to Charlie Lowndes, sheds one on net. Glove save, Omasinski he holds. 1:16 to go on the penalty to Lucas McMillan. As Maryville entered the weekend, killing 16 of 23 power plays, just shy of 70% on the season. Shot out in front from Mann, save Omasinski. Hedquist leaves it for Mann. Pressured by Johnson, he gets the puck to Ledecky, kicked back in by Lowndes. Lowndes to Hedquist, taken down as he gets it to Tessier. Tessier works it on the backhand, save made, Omasinski on the doorstep. Point blank range was Austin Tessier, and he couldn't get it past Omasinski. Omaha will go for a line change before this offensive zone faceoff with 50 seconds remaining on the power play. It'll be Fitch in on the draw, opposite Danny Leahy, and Fitch wins it back to Hunsaker. Hunsaker to Mitchell. Mitchell was looking across for Farnsworth. Pass ramped off the stick blade of Gavin Free and up into the Maryville bench, where Aaron Romerill roams in his first season at the helm of the Division III squad. He coached the Division II team from 2021 to 2023 after he wrapped up his playing career. He's been a pivotal part in building this program up after playing on the inaugural Division I team and inaugural Division II team. Trying to take this Division III team to places it has never been before. Right now, they're trying to get out of their own zone. And finally, Zarilla dumps it, and Maryville can go for a change with 15 seconds remaining on the penalty kill. Nate Mitchell starts out of his own zone. 1 goal already for the freshman out of Minnesota. Mitchell played for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. He loses the puck there. And Maryville sends the puck all the way down and kills its second penalty of the contest. 2 for 3 on the PK are the Saints as Farnsworth brings it back in for the Mavs. Backhand pass. Look for Hunsaker. Played off of his stick and out to center. Seb Cassiopo on the puck. One of just 3 juniors on the squad this year for the Mavericks. A healthy number of freshmen, including Carson Fitch, who has the puck there, giving it to the only senior, Troy Hunsaker. Well, the only senior who's played 4 years for the Mavericks. Now Wolveyan is a senior, but by way of Midland. Just getting started in black and crimson this season. Pass up ahead for Cassiopo, right into the glove of Omashinsky. He'll hold for the whistle. Omasinski made 38 stops on Friday night against Dordt in Sioux Center. Now up to 39 saves here through over 2 periods of play. That one won't count as a save as the Cassiopo shot goes wide right. Beth dumps it in. Barrett Bradley battling there with Whaley. Whaley kicks it up ahead to Royer, to Hess. Tried to find Stekiak, but played off of his stick as he entered the zone. Lucas Epperson starts out with it, looking for Barrett Bradley, goes right through his wickets and all the way down. Wyatt touches up, and it becomes icing with 13:16 to go in the game. 4-2 our score. The most recent goal coming from Maryville. Is off the stick blade of Joey Bunton with just 28 seconds remaining in the second period. Got us to where we are now. Omaha on the failed breakout. Maryville takes possession for a moment. Beth regains below his own goal line. Looking up the far side wall, finds Epperson. Epperson and Bradley can't connect again, and as Zarilla touches up, we will once again have icing on Omaha. The Mavs get started with conference play next weekend as they travel down to Overland Park, Kansas to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. That's the new Advent Health Jayhawk Arena. That'll be a great place to watch some hockey next weekend. Games Fridays at 8 o'clock, Saturdays scheduled for 4 o'clock. You can find both of those games on the UNO ACHA Mavericks Network on YouTube. As a shot comes in from the wing, Mesher able to cover up and hold. He'll have a face-off to his right. It is a busy month of November for the Mavericks. As another icing called, Charlie Shea nearly won the race for that puck alongside Adam Kreis. But the whistle blows and another stoppage of play for icing. After the KU series next weekend, Omaha heads down to Springfield, Missouri to take part in the Route 66 showcase put on by the Missouri State Ice Bears and the Drury Panthers, who both call Springfield home. Omaha 1-1 with a split against Missouri State earlier this year and on this ice. So that'll take up the weekend of the 14th through the 16th of November. Then after that, Omaha stays out on the road and heads to another showcase. This is the Chicago Classic, is put on by the Capper Hockey Services. It'll be the second Capper showcase the Mavericks take part in this season after hosting one earlier this year. That'll take up November 21st through 23rd with some great contests slated. Omaha will take on Wisconsin and Indiana before waiting to see how the rest of the tournament shakes out. Still 11:55 to go in this one. As Farnsworth dumps it caddy corner into the offensive zone. Wyatt first to it for Maryville. Caden Whaley looking for Leahy on the stretch pass. Too far for his stick. Farnsworth first to it for Omaha. Wagner tried to find Hedquist off of his skate. Leahy picks it back up in the neutral zone. Into the attack end goes Leahy, bodied off the puck by Wagner. Puck lifted off the glass to center ice again. It can be settled down by Carson Wyatt. From the center ice red line, he sends one in and rebounds all the way out to center ice once more. 11:10 to go in the final period. McMillan, trouble controlling it along the near wall. Stick lifted by Fitch. Fitch out to center for Hedquist. Hedquist and Mann work in 2-on-2 against the Maryville defense. Hedquist taken down, and the puck goes harmlessly to the corner. Mann has it there. Wound up shot for 4. He's diving shot, block out in front. Waiting to see him turn so we can get the number for that incredible shot blocked by the Saints. And that was indeed Joey Bunton with the defensive effort as Mann works back into the zone. Shot wide right. Kept in at the line by Tessier. Hops over his stick blade on a second attempt and goes out to center. Glazer starts back in with it. 1 against 3. Blake Glazer moves in on the backhand and it goes just wide right. Glazer leaves it there for Hunsaker. Hunsaker tried to find Tessier. Played off of his stick by Zarilla, but we'll have a delayed call coming up. Hooking the call on Zach Zarilla. Tessier was trying to work past him, and Zarilla just halted him up enough to give the Mavericks a 4th power play of the game. Just 1 goal through the first 3 chances for the Mavs. So Zarilla's to the box. The Mavericks have the puck off the face-off win. Glazer fans on the shot. Good defensive pressure from Leahy. Glazer leaves it for Chase Mann. Back around the back cage to Glazer. Working with it still to the hash marks. Now top of the zone is Blake Glazer to Charlie Lowndes. Lowndes sends one on net. Wide right. Ringing around the wall. Tessier. Lowndes. Chip pass to Glazer. Back to the top of the zone. Lowndes rips one. Loose out in front. And Omasinski finds it and puts a glove on it. We'll have a whistle at 9:33. 4 seconds, under a minute and a half to go on the fourth power play chance for Omaha. It was Carson Fitch, the current faceoff taker, who had the only power play goal for either side so far. He wins this draw back to Hunsaker. Cross ice Farnsworth. Top of the circle, Farnsworth centers, loose out in front. Goes all the way to the back wall without being touched. Voorhees picks it up there to Hunsaker. Holding, looking, cross to Mitchell. Mitchell winds up, shoots one, blocked out in front. Omasinski was sprawled out waiting. Hunsaker spin move along the blue line. Plays it low to Fitch. Mitchell now rips one off wide right. Maryville responding to the check on Hunsaker, who fires one. Rebound chance on the backhand, Voorhees, but Omasinski made the stop. It's under Wyatt as the two sides collide along the back wall. That's the two defensemen, Voorhees and Hunsaker, digging in against Wyatt, who's on a knee. It's played back out to Nate Mitchell, the third Maverick defenseman, in on the man advantage. Hunsaker out to Farnsworth. Excuse me, there are 4 Maverick defenders out on the ice to go along with Carson Fitch. And this time the puck played off of the stick of Farnsworth and out. Quickly back in is Zach Farnsworth. The freshman has his stick lifted right as he was in the shooting motion by Johnson. And Colin Johnson takes the puck in the corner, pins it up against the wall, killing some time. Now down to 5 seconds remaining on the Maverick power play. Hunsaker plays it back to the corner as Maryville back to full strength. And on a weak clearance by Whaley, the puck all the way down into the defensive zone for Omaha, where they'll have to start with it once more. Fitch dumps it into the zone. He'll leave the puck there for Hunsaker. To Epperson, top of the slot, looking for the back door. Mitchell couldn't collect. It's played out to the blue line. Despirito down to Epperson. Run around the back wall by Epperson. Mitchell steers it back the other way, blocked by an official, and Leahy gathers. Diving effort from Hunsaker. Puck left at the blue line. Great play from Lucas Epperson to keep that one from getting into the offensive zone. Hebert redirects this one in behind Mesher, and Omaha will gather with 7 minutes to go in the third. 4-2 Omaha. No goals here in the third yet. Ferrari sends one shot blocked by Beth up into the netting, and we'll have a whistle. Ferrari got the scoring started for Maryville. That one in the first period. After 2 Maverick goals, Ferrari made it 2-1. And another shot blocked, this time by Mesher with that blocker. Ferrari on the shot, Mesher with the save. 6:40 to go in the game. Puck cleared to center by Cassiopo. Hess sends it in. Beth gathers. Sends a long 2-line pass up ahead for Kraut. He has trouble controlling it. Regains possession behind the net. Back for Farnsworth. Had trouble hanging on to that one, and he sends a shot wide. Lowndes with a chance. That one blocked by Hess in front. Cleared out to center. Farnsworth dumps it back in, and will go for a change. Zorilla looking for a lane to clear his own zone. Finds Briz. Looking for a pass up to Amel. but it's going to be Farnsworth who wins the race. Ammo wins the battle in the corner, but it's rung around where Lowndes can pick it up. Charlie Lowndes, pressure from Bunton, but he works ahead into the offensive zone. Charlie Lowndes circles the net, wraparound chance, loose somewhere in front, played out by Kreis. Blind pass from Charlie Lowndes, intercepted by Meek. Meek works in all alone, gets it to the corner where he's played off the puck by Charlie Shea. Worked out of the scrum to Bunton. The most recent goal for either side coming from Bunton. Played it back to the point. Shot blocked by Shea. Off the skate of Charlie Shea, and now he's in all alone. Shoots one off just high above Omasinski. And the Saints can regroup behind that net of Omasinski with 4:50 to go in the contest. Good intercept from Troy Hunsaker at center ice. Gets it to Wagner. Tried to leave it there for Fitch. Wagner still with it. Now finally gets it to Fitch to the point Fories. Across the blue line, Hedquist turns, shoots, tipped by Wagner and goes wide. To the blue line again, Hunsaker. Back down the wall to Wagner. Across to the top point, Fories with a shot. Loose in front, cleared by Briz. And as Fories races down to touch up, icing on Maryville. .4:14 to go in the third. 4-2, Omaha leads. This is the first ever meeting between the Mavericks and the Saints. Only scheduled for one this season. This just happened after the Sioux Center series for Maryville, as on their way back to St. Louis tonight. Thought, why not? Let's stop and play the Mavs. I didn't think when they booked this game they realized that the Mavericks would be 10-1 at the time and 5th in the country. But you can't plan for everything. Shot right off the draw. Wagner sent it into the shin pads of Wyatt. Wagner working in the corner against Carson Wyatt of the Saints. Played out to Hedquist. Nate Mitchell along the blue line. Shot blocked wide right. Maryville sends it back to the point. Hedquist can't control. Intercepted off of his stick by Free. Played up ahead to Hebert. Hebert on the backhand. Glove saved by Mesher. He was all alone back there. Now another try. That one pounced on by the Sioux Falls native. He'll cover up and hold for a whistle. Mesher 28 stops on 30 total Maryville shots on goal. As the freshman out of Sioux Falls. Solid game back there, though the chances have been sporadic. Glazer in with man. Tipped out of harm's way by McMillan. Great back check from the center iceman. Briz skates it out of his own zone, but quickly turned back in by Glazer. Glazer working against two defenders, shoots one right into the pads of Omasinski, saved. Out along the far wall. Amel to Joey Bunton. Bunton shot wide right. He chases after it, but Lowndes is first to it for Omaha. Lowndes looking up the far wall, kept in by Briz, but off according to our linesman. And as McMillan stuck in the zone, didn't realize it was offside. Forces a whistle with 2:50 to go in the contest. When leading after 2 periods of play, Omaha is 9-0-0. When scoring the first goal of the game as they did today, Omaha is 10-0. And when scoring a power play goal, which the Mavericks also did today way back in the first period, the Mavericks have 9 wins and 1 tie. All those superlatives bode well for Omaha as we have a timeout with 2:50 to go in the game. We mentioned after this, Omaha heads down to Kansas to take on the Jayhawks. That'll be next weekend. Lots more Maverick athletics to get to before then, as our Summit League champion basketball team gets back in action tomorrow night up in Sioux Falls, the home of one Easton Mesher and James Shea. As Omaha, the men's basketball team, the talk of the tournament last year, will be taking on the Murray State Racers in the Field of 68 opening day marathon. That one will actually be at 12:30, so if you're bored at work tomorrow, tune into the Mavs. Some good college hoops going on all day tomorrow. It's the opening night. And the women's team, of course, they'll be getting in action as well. Tomorrow evening, they'll be playing at home. .238 to go. Maryville has it in the offensive zone. Ferrari to the point. Whaley, shot blocked out in front. Diving effort from Hunsaker. Tessier to Glazer. Kicked it up ahead but couldn't control it. Maryville back out to center ice. After this series, they return home to take on the McKendree Panthers. Shot from outside the zone by Leahy. Goes into the glove of Mesher harmlessly, and he'll hold with 2:03 to go in the game. So Maryville welcoming in a very local opponent, McKendree University, just on the other side of the river in Lebanon, Illinois, 45 miles east of where the Saints play hockey. Net empty for the Saints as they vie for 2 goals here in the final 2 minutes of play. Hebert in the near corner gets it to Meek. Played off of his stick by Charlie Shea. Long shot down from the blue line. And the 160-foot goal from Charlie Shea, his second of the game, will put the dagger into the hearts of the Saints. So Shea with the empty one makes it 5-2 Omaha with 1:36 to go. Pass rings around the back wall. Epperson first to touch up. Grab by Ledecky, looking for Stekiak. Stekiak played off the puck by Nate Mitchell along the back wall. Cassiopo finishes it by clearing the rest of the way. Whaley picks it back up. And as Maryville was bringing it up the ice, Stekiak and Mitchell tied up behind the play, and both will skate off with just 65 seconds to go in the contest. Coincidental minors, one for Mitchell, one for Stekiak. And we'll have a center ice face-off. That's about where the puck was frozen up at, so we could get the 2 men in the box. And we'll be 4-on-4 for the final minute and 5 seconds of play here from Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Omaha opened up the scoring and just didn't look back. 4 goals in the first. An insurance mark from Charlie Shea. And as Lowndes sends one wide, it goes all the way back out to center. Under 40 seconds to play. They weathered the onslaught in the second period. They allowed just 2 goals all day. And as a delayed call comes up on Maryville with 20 seconds, they'll touch up. We'll get the penalty. But it won't matter all that much, I hate to say. Skating off to the box second time tonight is Lucas McMillan. That'll be at 19:40. McMillan heads off. The only thing it will do will be potentially add another 0 for onto the Mavericks power play percentage. They're just 1 for 4 today, and with just 20 seconds to work and no real need to score again, you're thinking they're headed for 1 for 5. But those stats don't matter all that much when you've got the lead in the scoring column. And that's the most important number to have is Omaha 5, Maryville 2, 15 seconds left, tipped out in front. Rebound chance from Glazer right into the glove of Omasinski with 11 seconds to go. We inch ever closer to another piece of history here at Ralston Arena. Down in Florida, Coach Harrahill picked up his 40th win of the year. With this one, he will now be at 42 wins on this 3-year campaign as Omaha, with its 50th win in program history, getting it done over the Maryville Saints by a score of 5-2. Congratulations are around all in order for the Mavericks, who skate to an 11th victory on this season and now have an 11-1 record with 1 tie on the season. We will see you right back here on the UNO ACHA Mavericks YouTube channel next weekend as we head down to Kansas to take on the Jayhawks. That'll be next Friday and Saturday. Until then, have a great week, and go Mavs. I've been Nate Obrecht, alongside Caden McDermott, Logan Hadfield. Thank you for tuning in to the UNO ACHA